In a move that reeks of ideological tyranny, the Liberal government of Canada, under the sanctimonious banner of progress, has gutted one of British Columbia's most cherished sanctuaries for the dying, the Irene Thomas Hospice in Delta. This 10-bed haven, run by the Delta Hospice Society, DHS, was a beacon of true compassion, offering solace to those in their final days, until the Liberals decided that compassion must bow to their dogma of death on demand. The crime? Refusing to administer medical assistance in dying, MAiD, a practice the hospice rightly saw as antithetical to its mission of nurturing life's dignity until its natural end. The punishment? A ruthless funding cut, an eviction from public land, and the shuttering of a facility that served Delta's community for decades. This is not governance, this is a vendetta against principle. Let's be clear, the Liberals, with their smug championing of choice, have shown their true colors. They don't care about choice unless it aligns with their agenda. The Irene Thomas Hospice wasn't denying patients access to MAiD, patients requesting it were seamlessly transferred to nearby facilities, like Delta Hospital next door. Over 3 years, only 3 patients sought MAiD, and all were accommodated elsewhere. Yet, this wasn't enough for the Liberal overlords and their Fraser Health puppets, who demanded that the hospice itself wield the syringe or face annihilation. In 2020, Health Minister Adrian Dix, a loyal foot soldier of Justin Trudeau's regime, swung the axe, stripping the hospice of $1.5 million in annual funding, nearly half its budget, and cancelling its 35-year lease on public land. By February 2021, the hospice was dead, its staff laid off, its beds empty, its legacy erased. Why? Because it dared to uphold the philosophy of palliative care, rooted in the belief that no one should be rushed to their grave. The Liberals' hypocrisy is staggering. They preen about healthcare access, while dismantling a facility that provided world-class palliative care to a community of 100,000. They wax poetic about inclusivity, while trampling the conscientious objections of an organization that embodied the spirit of Dame Cicely Saunders, the founder of modern hospice care, who saw euthanasia as a betrayal of the dying. They claim to champion diversity, but evict a hospice for daring to think differently. This isn't about patient care. It's about ideological conformity. The Liberals want every corner of Canada's healthcare system to kneel before their MAiD altar, and they'll burn down anything that resists. And let's not kid ourselves about the stakes. The Delta Hospice Society wasn't some fringe outlier. It was a community pillar, funded partly by public dollars but also by the sweat and generosity of Delta's residents. That $15 million in assets the Liberals effectively expropriated. Built through decades of local fundraising, not government handouts. Yet, in a move that would make any dictator blush, the Liberals handed the hospice's land and legacy to Fraser Health, ensuring no trace of its principled stand remained. Angelina Ireland, the DHS president, called it what it was, a decree to enforce euthanasia at all costs. She's right. This is a government that would rather see a hospice die than let it live by its values. The fallout is a scandal in itself. Up to 70% of Canadians lack adequate palliative care, yet the Liberals prioritized forcing MAiD into hospices over expanding access to actual end-of-life care. They ignored the Canadian Society of Palliative Care Physicians, who warned that mandating MAiD undermines the very soul of hospice work. They dismissed Delta's mayor, George Harvey, who called the closure shameful. They silenced the 1,500 members of the DHS who fought to preserve their hospice's mission. And for what? To flex their muscle and prove that no one defies the Liberal death machine. This is the Liberal government's legacy. A Canada where compassion is criminalized, where dissent is crushed, and where the dying are pawns in an ideological crusade. The Irene Thomas Hospice didn't just lose its funding, it lost its right to exist because it dared to believe that life, even in its final moments, is worth protecting. The Liberals call this progress. I call it savagery. Shame on them, and shame on us if we let this outrage fade into silence. Power's sexy, deception's deadly, and politics always messy. High stakes, higher lies, and corruption. Power isn't taken, it's bought. Politics has never been so dirty, and baby, we're just getting started. Until the next scandal, XOXO.